I know that Kimberly Youngkin, who you met, is going to be working with you, and we're hoping, Dr. Cal, that some of the clinical tutors who are from Khartoum can work with some of the students. So it advances our sort of peace through medicine theme, because we think that having clinical tutors who are Arab from Khartoum working with Dinkas and Nuars will make an interesting back and forth. And we think, and I know from the students here that the doctors from Khartoum are amazingly well trained. So that's number one. And two, I'll be back here in 2 weeks, and Dr. Cal will make sure that you get some food money, right? We bought you enough to probably last you through the weekend, maybe, I hope, today. We bought them all the basics.
Washing powder and stuff, you got all of that?
Yeah, they have all that.
Very good.
So all they really need is some food.
Mm-hmm.
I know that Clarice is going to teach you about a bank account and budgeting and some of that.
And the laptops will be here. They are here.
They're here. I think you're getting them tomorrow afternoon
Okay.
or something. Yeah.
So then you'll be able to Skype home if you can, if that's the easiest
When we
way.
know about the one phone that doesn't have minutes on it, we'll figure that out.
Okay.
And you have your minutes, then you'll have some spending money for food.
And let me just say, you're welcome to come here. I'll just tell you a little bit about myself, because it's not about us. And why I'm interested and quite passionate about the program is I was born in Nairobi. My mother is a Luo from Western Kenya. One of you studied in Kitale. She was born very near Kitale. And so my first language was Swahili. I learnt English as a second language. I worked, as we said last night, with AMREF from '78. So I used to fly up to Juba all the time when Juba was a tiny little place and had very little there. And I worked with AMREF doing outreach programs into the rural areas in South Sudan. And I also worked with many of the Dinka people with a chap called Calvin Schwabi. There's a book that you might want to read. It's called Cattle, Priests and Progress in Medicine. I've shared it with Ellen. And it's all about the religious symbolism, and we know that, the Dinka are mostly pastoral people. And he wrote this very interesting book that you'll see a lot of your culture and your history is written down and recorded in that book. So I was based in Lokchogyo, and I built the hospital in Lopading with the Swiss Red Cross. I persuaded them to give money to build the hospital that treated the war wounded from South Sudan. So when the soldiers were wounded, as you know, you were transported down to Lopading. I used to meet with a lot of the soldiers in Lopading when I was there, and we'd talk, and General Gawan would come and stay with me in my base, because we had a nice place, and he would stay there on his way to Lodwar. Some of you have been in Kakuma, which is further south, and I used to go and be part of the surgical team with AMREF that treated a disease called echinococcus, cystic echinococcus. And so that's my main area of work. In 1982, the government of Kenya appointed me as the director of the National Elimination Program for cystic echinococcus. We started a pilot control program in the whole of the northwest of Kenya, in Turkana. And we used to meet with the Toposa people, who are just above, the Toposas, and also the Karamojong in northern Uganda. So I speak a little bit of Luganda, Asazotia, Burunji, and I'm sure you speak some of that. And if you want to come and speak in Swahili with me, we can do that. I have no Dinka. I'm no Nua, so I can't speak those languages. But I am familiar with the region where you've come from, the constraints that you've had, and some of you have obviously contributed fantastically to healthcare in your communities, to the best of your abilities and your training. So we are very hopeful that whilst you're here, that level that you had, never forget the constraints that you have. But the level that you had, we're going to improve. And you will be able to go back and not only treat people better, but think of the breadth of what you're going to learn here to help general public health. So, because we have a wonderful public health program here, and some of you...
Now, Dr. Elchi, I'm going to email Dr. Elchi to see if he'll meet with you when he comes back on Wednesday. He's been to South Sudan a couple of times.
And Dr. Badesi, who's the deputy chair, is here. Public health is a strength of ours at this university. Because we have a veterinary school here, and a medical school, and a department of public health, and where you are is Windruff, we're also mostly involved in public health. So we're interested in one health, one medicine. And some of you will be interested in that, because the Dinka people rely on their animals, and they keep their animals healthy, and the animals in turn keep them healthy. Yes? Yes. And so, when you look at it, animal health and human health is very interrelated. And you, of all the people here at the university, will appreciate one medicine, one health, one world. And I hope that you're going to get into some of these topics as you're here, and spend a little bit of time thinking about what you're learning here and its application back home. Because when you go home, it's nice for you to be able to make a difference on so many things. And I'm so delighted that so many of you have practical experiences, and you're going to build on those, and you'll share with us. We will have, I think over the time that you're here, I would like to invite you to come and perhaps give little seminars, and we will talk more about how lifestyles and pastoralists contribute to the health of peoples. So these are the things that I would look forward to on a scholarly level. And I'm so pleased that so many of you have got great experiences. I've been with the clinical officers in places like Turkana and Karamoja and South Sudan. And so, you know, the frustrations, just basic water, clean water, sanitation would make a huge difference. The levels of maternal mortality is unacceptable, and you guys are going to make a difference when you go back. So we're delighted you're here.
Just one thing, Dr. Cal, in 2 weeks, when I'm back here on the 29th, we will be 2 doctors, physicians from the Federal Minister of Health in South Sudan, provided it's still a country in 2 weeks, will be here along with Minister Tong Dang. And what do you call Franco-America? You have a name for him.
Franco.
Yeah. But you call him Franco what?
Yeah,
Okay. Well, he'll be here too. So the 4 of them will be here, and we'll all meet and go for dinner and spend some time together.
Yeah, and we have a journalist workshop on virology at that time. And you're going to be invited to come and meet with the people who've come from South Sudan and some of the world's most famous virologists.
And some of the American journalists.
And journalists.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure. Oh, Ellen's a journalist, so we like her. One thing that you will learn from that workshop is politicians, journalists, do make a huge difference in the contribution, and their awareness and knowledge of global health problems need to be very accurately conveyed. They make huge differences. A policy of putting your money into one area or another affects everyone's lives. So maybe one day some of you will become politicians, will go into health ministries and become maybe a minister of health one day.
Just don't be corrupt.
So we want you to, we want you to have the best knowledge and no corruption.
That's a good point.
We don't even know the meaning of that word, right? Okay, so Adam, anything else?
So I think you guys are, I'm not sure whether they're going to do some more interviews or whether you guys want to do some interviews and talk to them, because you've got about another hour, hour and a half. Dr. Cal and I are going to meet. Let's see who's out here. Any questions?